is AJ Heb, and it's been a little bit since I last posted, but I wanted to talk about a movie that I've recently seen that honestly really changed how much I love movies, or at least showed something that I haven't really seen myself with in a little while. I actually have not been watching movies or TV shows as much as I usually do, just because I've been working on some stuff. But yesterday, I was going to go out with my family to go see a movie, but that got canceled. But I still went on my Regal app to look to see what was playing, because I decided to go to the theater myself because I thought, why not just go to the movies and see what I want to see, even if it's just by myself? There's nothing wrong with that. And surprisingly, my Regal theater was still showing the 40th anniversary of E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. I was planning on seeing this movie when they did the first release of the anniversary with my friends, but I had to cancel just because I had something else going on. So I got really excited to see that they were still showing the anniversary release. I have never seen E.T., surprisingly. Like, a lot of people love this movie. It's an iconic movie. It's considered one of the greatest movies of all time. I just never saw it, never got the opportunity to see it, and all my loved ones assumed I'd seen it, and I was like, I have not. To see it in theaters got me really excited because I feel like I was going to be put in the shoes of people who saw it for the first time in theaters. It was an IMAX. I don't usually like IMAX, but I do make special occasions just because I want to have that movie theater experience. So I took one of my noise canceling headphones, and that helped a little bit. I could still feel the rumbling in my chest during the movie, but it wasn't too much. Just realize me pausing the audio recording, but not there's gonna be a lot of editing. Oh well. Alright, so I get to the theater and I watched the movie. It was great because there was one family only in front of me in this huge theater, and it looked like some grandparents taking their grandchildren, which I love. I love that, just because like it's a real release of a iconic movie, and it's just taking the kids to see it. That's pretty cool. I got my favorite. If you notice, I'm starting to like pause myself because I'm talking slower now. That's just because I'm allowing myself to process what I'm trying to say instead of ramble on without being cohesive. I think that's part of my anxiety. I think that's part of autism. Either way, I'm allowing myself to just actually take my time to talk. My favorite place to sit in a movie theater, I would have to say the very last row in the very middle seat, if there's nobody going to be in the back with me. That way I can be in dead center and see the entire screen, because that's awesome. But if it's like a busy theater night and there are people in the last row, then I kind of go to either the corner of the last row just because I can still see it even though it's not center, or I would say at least the first row that's on the upper level, just because like I have nobody in front of me still. So yeah, when I got to the theater, I had the whole screen to myself basically, and oh my goodness, I am so glad I decided to see this movie in theaters. I think making it an IMAX, despite my sensitivity to IMAX, made it even better, just because that movie is so great. E.T. is so great. I knew a lot of people who said they loved this movie and that they cried at this movie. I did not expect myself to be one of them, just because I knew maybe 80% of what this movie was about. but I guess I wasn't expecting the execution of how I was going to get so emotional. Oh my gosh, I can see why this is considered one of the greatest movies of all time. I read on IMDb's trivia of how if it wasn't for Gandhi's win, E.T. might have won Best Picture, and I thought that was pretty amazing. Oh my gosh, I felt so many emotions because of the story and performances. E.T. himself is just so precious. Like, I can get why people thought he was like ugly. I get why the child actors thought he was pretty unusual to look at while filming. But I kind of love how creative his design is. He doesn't look like a generic alien, and I can see how he's basically a plant-like alien from what I've read on the IMDb trivia page. He definitely has that moldy, earthly look to him, but still otherworldly. I love that he also has a very grandmotherly appearance when it comes to his disguises, from the blanket over his head to the costume that Gertie put him in. I found that his powers were also pretty nature related, from the bringing plant life back to life to healing the simplest of wounds, and especially the connection that he and Elliot had. I find it very refreshing that not only did they do a very deep friendship that goes beyond like how we usually view friendship, but like it's just it's hard to me explain. The love is like so deep. The fact that when E.T. is hurt, so is Elliot. Elliot feels E.T.'s thought process, his emotions, his feeling of the fact that he was on the brink of death. That was really, really good. I was not expecting that. I knew that they formed some kind of friendship, but I did not expect the movie to go down that route, and it was so beautiful. I knew that E.T. was gonna quote unquote die. I just didn't know how long, how it happened, and when he would come back. So the fact that not only did he pass away in such a tragic scene with Elliot just like calling out to him to like stay with him, the fact that he immediately comes back after the revival of the flowers and he's just so happy to see Elliot, and that got me crying. That had me in tears just because I saw the pure relief and joy on both of their faces, followed by Elliot going, shut up. Just to get back past the government workers. That was pretty funny, even though I was crying. So yeah, I just love how precious their friendship is, along with Elliot's interactions with his siblings. There were points where I got a little annoyed with Elliot, but like that's to be expected. He is a little kid. He has older siblings, so he tries to be an older sibling to Gertie, and young Drew Barrymore did a fantastic job as Gertie. I read that some of her lines were ad-libbed, and she was just so precious. There was a point in the movie, I think it was before the second half, where I was like, I wonder what happened if Gertie was in Elliot's role in the movie. Like, she got to form that friendship with E.T., because I could see that they were also close, but I was fine with what I saw because it was still equally as precious. My favorite scene has to be the opening, because again, I haven't seen this movie at all, so that opening scene blew my mind. Mainly the cinematography for that and the whole movie, but the opening scene kind of makes this prime example of what I was going to see with the rest of the movie. The wide shots. I love the wide shots. From the forest to E.T. exploring the spaceship. I like to think that the wide shots emphasize how E.T. was viewing Earth at that time, how big it looked to him. And I like that Steven Spielberg would keep the camera at the kids' eye level just because it's also in their perspective, not just ET's. I think that's an awesome idea to do. I especially love the sunsets in the movie. It's just so realistic with the lighting and it's so beautiful. I kind of wish I had some screenshots or wallpapers or frames up from this movie because they're just beautiful. I also really love the score. I was shocked to learn that John Williams was part of this movie. Like, I feel like I should have known that fact, but I didn't. So to hear that score, I immediately looked him up and I didn't immediately look him up. I saw in the credits John Williams. And I was like, oh my gosh, one of my favorite people in movies. I, for some reason, forgetting the term. Well, now I gotta look it up. I didn't even have to look it up. Composer. He's one of my favorite movie composers. Him and Hans Zimmer. They're two of my favorites. Oh my gosh, but he put everything into E.T.'s score. I loved how it can go from whimsical with his E.T.'s interactions with everyone to otherworldly, especially when the government workers came to their house to basically capture E.T. Like, it was phenomenal. And that final score with the final scene, that amazing. It's just so epic for that final scene. And I'm so glad that they ended it there and didn't add anything else or do a sequel, because that ended perfectly. Just the fact that, like, E.T. and Elliot have this deep bond that they will remember forever. They don't need to see each other again. They just know that they'll be right there for each other. Immediately after, when I got home, I remember that they did a E.T. commercial. I just never watched it because I didn't watch E.T. So I looked it up on YouTube and it was cute. I don't know how I feel about how E.T. looked, because I understand they not only did the puppet, but they added more CG to E.T. and his interactions, so it looked different. That's the only thing I can say. It looked different, but it was still recognizable. E.T. was still recognizable. I think it's just the difference was unexpected to me because I love E.T.'s design in the original, but I understand, like, not everybody did, so they made that adjustment, which I respect. And to see him and an older Elliot just hug it out in that one scene in the bedroom, that was just so heartwarming. Again, very cute short film, which I would love to see more classic movies do, because, I don't know, it'd just be a cute idea. So overall, E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial has become one of my favorite movies. I added it to my Letterboxd list, and after I saw the movie, it helped me get back behind the camera, because there'd be days where I wanted to do another YouTube video. It's just I am overwhelmed right now with applying to college and currently finding a new job. But I knew that if I did not talk about this movie now, I never will. So not only did I write my Letterboxd review, which I will put in the link in the description, but I began to set up my camera, and it was actually a nice feeling. I completely forgot about what I was stressing over because I was focusing on finding the perfect position for my camera, looking into my mic, which I am holding for the first time because I always had it on the table. I just had trouble connecting it to my computer, so I tried to find out why, and hearing the audio while holding this, so much better in my opinion. So you might see me doing this a lot. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I gave E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial 4.5 out of 5 stars. While I do think this is a great movie and one of the greatest movies of all time, there were just some line delivery that kind of just made me go, what? Just some moments that made me go, okay, what the heck? And some editing that was just way too fast for me. But again, they're very minor. Not They're very minor nitpicks, and I just value the movie's pros more than the cons, so that's why it's at the rating that it is. Did you happen to see the 40th ET anniversary special for the first time like I did? Or you went to go see it just because you love the movie so much? Or you grew up with the movie and you have your own way of watching it? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you think about this movie, and if you really liked how I gave this review, I'd appreciate that thumbs up. I hope you all have a great week. Here is an update that I've mentioned in my previous videos, but there is a video I did way back in April with my friend Anthony, talking about autism. I was going to post it for Autism Awareness and Appreciation Month, but never did, but that's because I got distracted a whole lot, so I'm currently working on editing right now, because better late than never. And it's something that I really want to post on my channel because it's a great conversation I had with Anthony. We learned so much about each other and our experience with autism. So hopefully I will post that next week. Have a great week, everybody, and I'll see you next time.